I pray to God that this, I have to live stream this because every time I try to record this message, it crashes when I try to record it. So it's something that does not want me to release this message. So I'm hoping that this third time is going to be the charm because I don't have time for that. Um, so this is going to be another question that I received from someone, Christina. Shout out to you, Christina. Thank you for your question or your topic. So she suggested I do a discussion on celibacy, essentially abstinence, really. But she wanted me to do a discussion, and I was like, I've been sitting on that, and I'm like, this is because it's such a controversial thing to talk about sex and celibacy specifically, or rather abstinence, excuse me, rather. And it's such a touchy thing because, it can go different ways on both sides of the spectrum. One side, it could be people feel shamed because, people might tell them that they're being a goody two shoe, or they think they're too good, or they're prudes. And I say this, like, hey, I'll be a prude. If you mean by definition, like prudence, like, or prudent, to be prudent, I'll take that, because to be prudent is to be careful, or, wise with your future, in other words, showing care or acting with care for like what is in your future, so being discerning and careful with your energy, and in that case, your body. But this is not a video to shame anyone. This is all from just my experience, my perspective, my, wisdom around these things, and any other, guidance or advice that comes through. And you don't have to take it. You absolutely do not. But for those that may, have this on their heart, or they, these questions, because I asked her, I said, what would you feel like would need to be discussed around the topic alone? Like, what things, do you feel like? And she submitted some questions. So I'm going to go over the questions all in one. And it's probably best to do this live so I don't feel like I have to rush my timing with my record and my space and my memory and all that on my device. I can just do it straight up like this. But I'm going to get into that. So before I do, if you guys have any questions, any topics that you have, any live discussions or any discussions that you would like to have, you guys can leave that on my website. If you scroll down on my website, which I will leave the link, there will be a brown bubble that has a little chat icon or emoji in it. And you just click on that little messenger bubble and it will allow you to submit a question. Now, if you would like to remain anonymous, you absolutely can. Also, you can email me your questions or live discussions or topics that you would like to have. And if I feel like it will be beneficial to the collective as a whole, I will definitely go ahead and post it. So, going back to the topic, okay, this can be definitely a touchy subject. Like I said, for one, people being shamed for being prudish or being lame or whatever. Get with the times. You do what you want with your body. You F who you want, blah, blah, blah. You have free will. Absolutely. There's consequences with that, though, right? And just on the other side, people get shamed or being called, being promiscuous and so on and so forth. So this is not a shaming zone, okay? I'm going to go over the questions, okay? So her question was, one of the questions is, what should we focus on during the process? So the process, I'm going to call it abstinence because the word celibacy, you guys, is a act. Basically, celibacy is a spiritual practice of devoting your time to God or your services to the church, like a nun, where you vow not to get married nor have sex. Now, if you obviously are desiring a relationship, I wouldn't say that celibacy is a wise choice of words. More so abstinence, because, as in school or in church, they teach us abstinence, right? But the word, if you look at the word, it just represents the fact or practice of restraining oneself from indulging in something, right? So you're abstaining from indulging in sex, right? What do you do in the process? Where you focus? Yourself. You focus on yourself. because that's just one thing that's taking your distraction away. You're not tied up with a man or a woman right now sexually. You're not worried about what this person is doing, what they're not doing. You're not going to become a slave to the D or to the P word, whatever. You're able to keep your focus about you. You can put and pour your energy into other things. Okay. You can put your energy into yourself. It just removes that distraction out of your life, essentially. And, naturally, as a human, you're going to have your fleshly desires. Naturally, as humans, we want to interact. We want to feel a comfort. We want to feel a connectedness. And sexual intimacy is natural. That's how we get here. That's how we become to being, right? But the thing is like, who are you exchanging that energy with? Because sex is sacred within itself. And for me personally, I would suggest, like, if you know that you have feelings or you're starting to feel somebody, it might not be wise to hang out with this person late at night after dark. It may not be wise to allow this person to come in after hours and hang out with you, sit on the couch for a little too long. You know what I mean? Or any place, you could be in your car. You know how it go. Like, definitely want to just be wise about your choices. You don't want to put yourself in a place of temptation. Obviously, if it's a guy that you or a woman that you used to hook up with, you guys had good sex, you obviously, wouldn't keep contact with that person, or at least I would hope, there would be boundaries there where you say to yourself, nah, I'm not falling back into that. If this person calls you or texts you after hours, you're not going to fall into the temptation to hit them up or call them back or answer the call in the middle of the night. And again, these soul ties that get created from sex is a part of the reason why I do not have sex. I've been abstinent for over 5 years. I've fallen into temptations a few times where I wanted to slip up. And that's natural. Like I said, that happens. But I'm grateful that I didn't fall into the temptations to the point where I did something that I regretted. So in that time, like I'm saying, like when I say to the point where no one has seen me naked in like years, like like physically seen me or touched me any inappropriately, or I touched them any type of, like, I have not crossed the line. I haven't even kissed anybody in that time, like probably longer than that, because the last interaction I had was not intimate on any other level at all. It was disgusting. So there was no kissing, there was no sentimental, none of that. So it's been a minute, and I would rather have it that way because my energy's not all stirred up and mixed up sexually and spiritually in that regard, where this person's energy, I got disgusted. I'm sharing this because it's going to lead me to my next question here that Christina asked. And the act was disgusting to me because there was no, and this is how I am. If I don't have an emotional connection to you, a spiritual connection, an intellectual, it's not that. It's just, oh, he's cute, or, we got an okay conversation, we chilling, or we might be under the influence of something, whether it's weed or a drink or something. I can't do it anymore. Like, I felt like, this was disgusting. Like, it was gross. So I said to myself, like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to preserve myself for my person. And with God's help, God's strength, God give me strength not to fall into anything. And right after that, I went into a spiritual cleanse where I cleansed my body, my yoni, my nani, whatever, my womb space out of any sexual connections and ties and any traumas in my womb space. I released all of that. And it was a 3-month process to do that, mind you. It was a 3-month process. So, and be mindful that when you do this, you're going to be pursued even more sexually. Just giving you a heads up. And that is where the discipline comes in. So the next question that you asked, or Christina had asked, was, what is the purpose of Wait, what is the purpose spiritually of the purpose? So I'm assuming you meant the process. What is the purpose spiritually of the process? So that is up to your interpretation. Like I mentioned earlier, why my intentions were to abstain from sex. You have to have your own intent and reason. And that's good to have as well, because you can always have that to fall back on when you feel tempted to remind yourself of your intentions and why you did this. And that puts you back into that place of discipline, not to do it. Right? That's with anything that we take on in life. When we devote ourselves to something for ourselves or our spiritual cause, or dedicating ourselves to something that matters, that holds value to us, that is a part of a moral value, right? So that is up to you. What is the purpose spiritually of this process? And if you feel like it's something you were led into, then seek spirit, seek God, and say, hey, what's the purpose of all this? Why haven't I been able to mate with anybody? Or, you know what I mean? And if that's the case, that's a blessing, because that means that you're being protected, you're being hidden, you're being covered, and most likely it's so that you can heal, so that you can release any soul ties and connections that don't serve you, so that you can start focusing on you, doing you, and healing those parts of yourself. Because a lot of times, like sexually, we got to ask ourselves where the desires even come from. Because I notice a thing with people that have to be sexually intimate all the time. It's usually driven by something spiritually, whether it's a sex addiction, whether it's a spirit of lust, whether it's a spirit, an orphan spirit, where you feel some type of emptiness or void, and that what fills you up is, or what makes you feel deserving, what makes you feel desirable, is another man or woman wanting to sleep with you, or you being able to conquer another woman or conquer a man, right? And say, oh, I'm the ish because I did this and I did this, and this person wants me and they want to sleep with me. Just because a person wants to sleep with you does not mean that they hold value for you. And another thing too, like, men will tell you anything. They'll tell you they love you. They'll tell you you're beautiful. They'll tell you you're a goddess, you're a queen, you're all of this stuff. But outside of the bedroom, they do not respect you. They do not respect your time. They do not respect you. They play the game enough. They'll do whatever. They'll say whatever. They'll play house with you to get that. And for men that are broken, the conquest of how many women that they can sleep with is a notch on their belt. And that's a brokenness, to say that your penis holds more value, or how many women you can bed makes you into a man. That's a broken mindset. A woman that thinks because a man lays down with her and prefers her over another woman, or you think they prefer you over another woman, or they're willing to sleep with you over their wives or their girlfriends or their baby mamas or whatever, that does not mean that this person values you. They don't even value what's between your legs, because if they did, they wouldn't swap from this one and that one. So no. And that is why I don't do it. All of that comes with it. And even if it be that it's you in a situationship with somebody and y'all say it's cool, but at the end of the day, you got to be honest with yourself. Is sex all you really want at the end of the day? Or is it just something that you feel that is giving you that fulfillment? And I said this to myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm naturally, gonna want it, right? I'm a woman, have needs, right? I'm a sexual being. I'm a sensual being. I enjoy sex. Like, who doesn't, right? But to say that temporary fulfillment of just getting it in and busting one, right? Like, just getting that off, that's temporary. It goes away. And then it's like, okay, what after that? What's next? Was it really worth it? I would rather preserve that for the person that is meant for me, that I can have that intimacy on a whole nother level that I wouldn't with anyone else. Because when all those other aspects are unlocked and tapped into, the intimacy is going to be different. So I would rather, I want to experience that. And I, did all this work for myself and also for the person. And I feel like the intentions, you guys, with your process is everything. Like I said, it steers you back into the right direction. It puts you back into focus. The benefits of abstaining for sex is you're focused. You can pay attention to your own self. You're not conflicted by different energies. You're not attached to another person, a temporary person. That's another thing too. Like this person, in hindsight, then if it's, not my person, but I'm just casually sleeping with this person and that person, and people say, "Oh, you got to test it out." Like that's, to me, I believe like that's bullshit. I don't believe that. Because if the person is for you, why would spirit be like, "Oh, I'm just going to give them something whack"? That's not how it works. And some things, and we all know, if we're adults here, let's be real, sometimes you got to teach people what you like. Not everybody's going to get it first off. Like, let's be real. It's not a porno. Like, you got to teach people what you like sometimes. It is what it is. So, miss that with that excuse as well. That's just an excuse to just be nasty and just dip it in whatever you want to dip it in or be dipped into, whatever. Try not to be explicit. But yeah, you gotta be wiser than that, wiser than the game of falling into that. And if people want, the people do what they want with their body. Like I said, this is not a shaming thing. But for those of you that are, kind of tiptoeing into that and wondering if it's something that you're being called into or there's something that you should do, I would say the benefits of it is that your mind is more clear. You're able to snap out of being attached to something with someone because you don't have that cord of sex to attach you and latch you to a soul tie or a healthy connection with someone that is not meant to stay in your life or to be led astray by your lust or by your flesh. When you get into those energies where you want to tap into that stuff, ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, can I divert the energy into something healthy? Can I switch my focus into something else? And this person that is tempting me, is it really worth it? And another thing that helps me is, again, like, I'm not about to share myself with somebody, give them the pleasure or even give them the privilege of having me in that way or seeing me outside of that, if I know that this person is not going to love me or cherish me the way that I deserve, or they're not the person that's called to love me, to protect me, to support me, you know what I mean, in all of the ways, if they're not going to be that and they're not that, it's not worth it for me. You don't get the privilege of having that part of me because, like, you're entering into my spiritual being, my space. Like, nah. I think not. Think not. So it leads me to the next question that she asked. Is it to wait to marriage? So she's saying, is it the purpose to wait to marriage? I would say only, potentially only if, this is just potentially, if marriage is your end goal or intent, that is your intent to get to marry, then yes. Because if you know that you are eventually going to be with your person and you want to preserve your energy for that person and you don't want to connect with multiple people, you don't want to have different soul ties with this person, that person until your person comes, you don't want all the complications of that, I would say yes, that is a wise thing to do. It is wise to do. And again, this is not about being a goody two shoes. Like, the word prude, I went over it, what that means. It just means to show a care or to act or show care for your future. So if laying down with Jerome or whoever is not going to lead to anything but heartache and frustration or issues with other women or a itch or a scratch or a potential baby that you don't want to end up with this dude later on in life, is it really worth it? Or this girl, just because she got a big booty and it's just like, oh, her ass is fat, whatever, and she's a bird brain or she's deceptive or she's just not on your level, but you just want to get it in that bad. Is she worth that? Is the question. And it really goes back to the self. It remove the husbands and the wives and what people think, but this is about you. Are you truly satisfied with that at the end of the day? You might get it off and be like, oh, I released some whatever, some stress real quick. But is it really worth it at the end of the day? And some people will say, I do what I want with my body. We're supposed to have sex. And, oh, that's what the ancestors did. They slept with it, this one and that one. And that's a different type of energy. Y'all ain't having no magical sex y'all ain't doing that. Y'all moving in your flesh. Like, stop with the excuses. Like, just stop. So, no. Unless you into some witchy magic and you're really about that life, and I'm not talking about y'all just playing around with it and just saying y'all having sex magic, but you really know what you're doing, that's on y'all. Y'all do what y'all do. But if you know that it's just some frivolous stuff, like, is it really worth it? That's all I'm saying. But for those of you that are on the path of the absence journey, it's about you first and foremost. Your relationship with yourself. That's it. First and foremost. The next question, or the last that she asked, was, will it be valued by our divine mates? So anything that you stand by, your values, your morals, your your goals, your aspirations, your ambitions is going to be supported by your divine mate. They're going to value these things about you because they value you. So of course that will be value to them. Does that mean that because you had a few sexual escapades in your heyday that this person is not going to value anymore any less? No, they're going to love you for you. It's not about your past. Unconditional love is not is not keeping records of past things. It focuses on the now and the future ahead, the progress ahead. That's what it focuses on. So your divine mate essentially is going to value anything that you hold as valuable to you. They're going to respect that regardless. So if your stance is, hey, I chose to be abstinent until whatever, or because of this, or because of that, or for the sake of my marriage, or for you, they're going to value that because you value it. That's it. They're not going to pressure you to have sex with them because that shows they don't value what you're talking about. They don't value your stance. They don't value where you're coming from with it, right? So they're going to like tempt you. They're going to shame you. And this is another, I've had people like try to like shame me for my choice. And it's like, how are you going to do that? Because this is my decision. I don't shame you for wanting to do what you want to do. Unless it's something that I feel like is dangerous, I feel like is detrimental to you, or I feel like you deserve better, then I'm gonna say it. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, why you sleep with him? Oh, girl, you so this, you so fast, you so promiscuous, you such a hoe. Like, I don't do that. So the disrespect, I've had that before. And this is a thing. Again, the way of the world is, it promotes things of quick fix. It promotes things that are of the ego. A lot of times they're fleshly driven by our wants and our needs. What I want this and I want that and I want it now. And it promotes our sicknesses and our trauma, you know. So the world will go towards those things. And if you got hot girls and city girls talking about Megan Thee Stallions and this talking about sleeping with a dude and doing this and doing that, like, okay, it's slut walks and stuff promoting all of that, then of course the pressure is on to say, hey, F it, you know what, this womb space that I got right here in between my legs, it's anybody can get it, or whenever I want it I can get it. No, in my opinion, that's dangerous. That's a dangerous ideology to have. It just is, no matter how you try to flip it. Yes, some people's essence maybe is to be, you know, a sexual healer through their womb. That's different. But some of y'all try to, that spirituality stuff where people like, they get too fanatical with the spiritual ideologies and the gods and the goddesses stuff. A lot of that is ego to, like, that's y'all ego. Like, y'all feeding into the ego. Y'all not operating in God and goddess energy. Like, that's not what y'all on. Like, I can't stand it. Y'all not on that. Stop. You're really not. Y'all just like the titles and the feels of saying you're gods and goddesses, and our ancestors was busting it wide open in a pyramid and what they let on, on a handstand. Like y'all not about that life. Like stop. So no. No. And y'all can let these little spiritual dudes exploit you and talk about, oh, I gotta have 3 wives, and like ain't even taking care of their kids, ain't about family. They just creating cults and busting seeds and babies out and manipulating women and trauma bonding and creating Stockholm syndrome. Like, stop it with this fake spirituality, this fake wokeness and hotep negro. Like, just stop. Please. It's lame. And women, y'all gotta catch on a little bit better, like for real. If you a queen, you a goddess, you don't allow jesters to run one up on you. And I say this because I've been there. Gotta over exceed the tricksters and the lies and people trying to get one up over on you, and people can sniff desperation and brokenness. And when you're so desperate to be loved and to be seen and to be appreciated and to feel powerful and to feel like this goddess or this god that can conquer all these women, and that's your broken space. Because a king or queen does not seek validation from people. They know who they are. People talk a good game. Oh, I know who I am and I'm this and I'm that. Like, titles and labels make people feel big, but strip people of those titles and those labels and they'll feel small. You have to love yourself enough to discern when people don't love you back or when people don't value you back. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn, still conquering that, knowing how to discern when people have my best intentions and when they don't, and knowing to listen to my own still voice and say, that don't feel right to me, that don't sound right to me, and not rejecting it from my ego and saying because I don't want to hear it, but more so from a place that I know this person's intentions are not well. There's a difference. So it helps you to discern the mate that's for you, because they'll value you. Like, sis, brother, whoever, you're not going to be so confused to the point if this person loves you. If this person is giving you backhanded compliments, or they telling you they want to be with you, but they still won't, they won't leave the streets alone, the women in the streets alone or whatever, or they're putting you in a third party or love triangle situation. They got this person and they got a woman, they got a baby mama, they got this, they got that. And they're telling you that they love you. But in one token, outside of it, this person is showing you that they don't love you. So what are you going to believe? If a person loved you, their stance is clear with you. You don't have to question that. But how much do you love yourself? Do you love yourself enough to say, I don't even want to be in a limbo, so let me remove myself? Being outside of a limbo is better than being in a limbo, in my opinion. If I had to be in a imbalanced state where I'm constantly in an up and down state in my body, my energy, my heart, and my mind, that's not a healthy state to be. So I'd rather not be in that. Your body is precious not only because of the sexual aspects of it, where a person could say, oh, I got that, I slept with that, whatever. You don't want to be put in the checklist of a conquest, right? But on a spiritual level, you're letting this, let's say this man got all these demons on him and in him, right? He's got demons of lust, he got demons of incest, he's got, or she has these things inside of her, and they're laying down with you and you having babies. You're creating more generational trauma and karma, as some people say, or generational curses, by aligning yourself with that person energetically. And it doesn't even have to just be through kids. It could just be swapping your energy with this person. And you take on this person's perversions. You start doing freaky stuff that you would never even do with this person, that you would probably be like, oh, that's disgusting. And you find yourself starting to do it, starting to like it. That is, and it's deeper than that too. This person is tapping into your mind. If this is a woman, you're allowing a man, if you're sleeping with men, allowing them to tap into your womb, tap into that mind, that spinal cord, that brain, and release all of their gunk. And you want to say, oh, just go to a Reiki healer and get it purged off of me. Well, now you got all these things popping off in your brain cells, and you're starting to rewire your mind and your DNA to think and act like this person, and you're operating in this person's perversions, their trauma, their PTSD. You don't understand why you can't sleep at night, why you got paranoia, why you over here, like I said, doing some wild shit that you never thought you would ever do. You're losing your common sense because you're laying with somebody that you're not supposed to lay with. That is why they say be discerning of who you allow in your wound space. Men, you can go into a wound and get sucked into some succubus's, you know what, and she sucks the life out of you. You're wondering why you look like death. Why your eyes are sunken in, why you don't look healthy no more, why you might not have the motivation for certain things anymore. You feel like you're under some type of demonic trance. Like, come on, like, y'all, like, let's be real with stuff. Some people, if they're not self-aware of what they're carrying, that's even worse. Y'all got to be very mindful. It's not just catching STDs out here. It's catching demons and spirits and strongholds and generational, like, come on. It's deeper than that. So, again, it's deeper than saying, oh, I'm celibate because I'm this princess that I'm goody to. No, no, I'm protecting my energy. And the person that is the person for you, the sex is going to be something really, really sacred and different and of depth and of value to the both of you. It's a love language for you both in a way that you're not used to. It goes beyond, oh, they just good at it. Oh, they blowing your back. Like, it's way beyond that. So why settle for those temporary things? I know it can be an addiction for some people. It's normalcy to some people, but like, this is coming from somebody that enjoys it. But I, like, personally for me, like I said, it just was disgusting after a while. I was just like, I can't. Like, I couldn't find it in myself to be, and it was with someone that I was used to having sex with, but after a while it was just like, this is disgusting. I can't do it. And I didn't feel that love. I didn't feel that intimacy, that connectedness, that comfort, that safety, that freedom, that I didn't feel none of that. So I don't want to experience a casual sexual situation ever again. And I don't want to reattach myself to the connection and the trauma that came along with that connection, or just someone that I know that essentially is not going to be for me. In the end, it's not worth it. I can experience a person and have an experience with them that I need to have outside of sex. If it's meant for me to date a person before I marry the person I'm supposed to be with, or you're supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like, the experience is going to happen. However, and you know, slept with who you slept with, it happened for a reason. But now that you know better, you know, hopefully you won't repeat the same things again. And if you're going to continue to have sex, like for those of you that's like, oh, I ain't giving it up, well, then move differently. You know, move a little bit differently. But once you make that decision that you want better for yourself, you'll stop settling for things that are temporary and mediocre in your life. And then you'll start to see that these people, they're not as attracted to you, or you might not even have that urge to even go out, Tinder swipe and get some. Like, it might not even be there anymore. That desire might leave you. So I send you guys love. I don't want any of you guys to take this the wrong way, um, and feel like I'm coming down on you. I speak from a place of love, you guys, because I know that this world, it can pressure us into some things that are not really healthy, and we might take it on as normalcy, but again, like I said, everybody has their own beliefs. Some people believe that sex is harmless. You do what you want with your body. You a queen. You a hot girl. It's hot girl summer. You can do this. You can do that. Or you the man because you slept with 20 women in a month. Like, you do you. But that stuff gets old and it gets tired. The more you heal, the more your traumas will be exposed to you. That's just how it goes. So I send y'all love. I know this was touching because I was like, I kind of was like hesitating on doing this because I know that it's going to trigger some people, obviously. And I do not want anyone to feel like they're being divided or separated or being shamed. But I want people to, and at the end of the day, you do what you want and you're going to do what you want. I feel like it's only right to put it out there, the benefits of preserving and protecting your energy essentially on a physical and sexual level and energetic level. Because sex is not just as harmless as we think it is. It's really not. It's really not. And women, your womb, you're more powerful than you know. You're way more powerful than you realize. Your space, your womb, there's life that comes from that. You create energies, you create world, you create humans. For God's sake, from that, you create life. So you don't want to taint your garden in your womb with demonic energy and thieves and people that just only come to kill, steal, and destroy, to lay up with you and to release off in you and all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have y'all ever seen, this is probably a little graphic, but have you guys ever seen the Yoni Pearls reviews where people show you what comes out of them after they do these Yoni Pearls? The things that come out of them look like monsters and creatures and like weird deformed things. So just imagine like what that is, all that stuff that's coming out that went in. You got to think of it this way, y'all, for real. Sex is just promoted. It's been promoted since the day we were born, heavily in our music, in movies and TVs. But it's the raunchy and the perverted version of sex is being promoted to us to the point where we don't even know what it's like to have a sacred sensual experience firsthand. We see the perversion all over the place before we see the sacred, seeing two people make love or seeing people connect on a deep level where it's beyond just a physical pleasure. And that's why it's just like, it's whatever to people. But we live in a broken world and society. Like, there's so many people that are traumatized and deeply broken in self, that certain things that are crazy. If you take a step back with a sober mind, you'll look at these things and be like, this is madness. This is not normalcy. This is not. It's not. It is not. Call me your old lady. Call me your prude. Call me a lame. Like, I've been there, done that. I've done all that stuff. I've been there, done that. Like, I had in my early 20s, mid 20s, I was doing stuff like, like, come on, like, I don't need to do that anymore. Like, that, I can't, like, I outgrew that. So, and looking back, it's because I had the lowest of low self-esteem, even because the fake confidence that people exude is the fact that they're attractive. They have men and women that's after them, or they can attract men and women, or they get attention, or, they might have a good personality, but the inner parts of the self that doesn't truly value self is not there. So it's easy to just do whatever and just throw your life away. And when you're young and they teach you, oh, you got to have experience. I have met some very wise teenagers, very wise young adults that don't feel the need to live their life like that, and I wish at that time, but I don't regret my past because it makes me who I am and it gave me the wisdom that I needed. But some people walk through their life a little bit more conscious about their decisions. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing, because when they get older, they probably going to be way wiser beyond their years. But for those of us that had to and may still be going through our experiences and the things that we've done in time, right, in life, you know, those experiences will shape you. You never shame your past, because your past is a part of you. It's a part of your story. It's a part of your testimony, your scars, and your flaws, as they call it, right? Those things make us. They're a part of who we are. Every part of ourselves and our journey holds a significance. So, you know, now that you know better, you know, it's just up to you whether you're going to move differently. You know what I mean? Whatever conclusion you come to within yourself, save yourself the heartbreaks, the confusion, the ups and the downs, and, like, you know, save yourself the trouble. Or for some men, being careful with who you lay down, because you might tap into the wrong person and that woman can be crazy, you know what I mean? Or that man can be crazy, and you just gotta be very careful. Like, is it all worth it? Is it all worth it, you know, to do that? And some people like drama. They do. Some people like drama. Some women get off to the fact that they sleep with other people's men, or that they took some, or they felt like they took another woman's man. That makes them feel valuable to say, oh, I'm sleeping with this man that has a wife, or that has a baby mama, or that has a girlfriend. And, you know, it makes them feel that way. But that's the woundedness. That doesn't make you a better woman. And they'll tell you, oh, I'm in love with you, I want to be with you, but they ain't left her. And you'll make excuses and say, oh, he's stuck and he doesn't know what to do, and all that. Like, don't do that to yourself. No. It doesn't make you the better woman. It does not. And, you know, people that cheat on their partners, their wives and their girlfriends and all that, y'all, those consequences. You think you're the man, but those things hold consequences at the end of the day, that you got to answer to. You know, nowadays people are very dangerous. People don't mind using weapons and things like that. You know, jealousy is a dangerous spirit to be under, because it can lead to destruction. So y'all got to be careful out here. That's why it's deeper than sex, you guys. There's so many layers. I can go on and on about this. So I'm gonna leave it at that, because this was not supposed to be a long topic, but I can see why I kept having the dilemmas that I had, because Spirit, I guess, wanted me to come on here and do it this way. And it's lengthy, mind you, it is lengthy, but I feel like there was a purpose and reason as to why I had to record it like this. It was a lot, but yeah. I hope this was helpful to someone, and that, you know, you take the message as it is, and you consider, you know, is it for my highest good? Is it for the best? And if you decide, like, oh, it's not for me, I can't do it, whatever, or I prefer this, or this is just what I, you know, be you, do you, you know. All I'm saying is just think, just food for thought. That's my word today. My phrase, food for thought. Just keep that for yourself. Hold on to that. But yeah, we're already 44 minutes in. But I greatly appreciate all of y'all for your support and the change and the shift. So from Walu to officially Chenoa, you guys know my real name is Chenoa. So I feel like it's only fitting to just go by my name officially. Just go by my name, but still Walu, you know, that name will never leave me. That's been with me since I was a child. So still Walu. But I appreciate y'all. Like I said, if you guys would like to leave a question or a topic or discussion, feel free You guys can remain anonymous if you like. Email me or go on my website and hit the little brown little chat bubble. If you guys would like to book a coaching session with me, I have coaching session available for men now. And I would love to work with men that are intentful about, their whatever it is, whether it's their love life, their healing, their purposes and career, just leveling up in some way and in a safe space, because it's probably not easy to share some of that with your boys, but ladies as well. I have my Queen Esther singles and life purpose coaching as well. So whatever your intentions are, whatever you want to set your goals or your focus, whatever your aim is, you know hit me up. Or if you guys would like a personal reading, y'all can also check out my website. I would appreciate it. Sew into my gifts, my jewelry pieces and all of that. I would appreciate it. Engagement. Feel free to like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not. If you guys resonate with my channel, I would appreciate the engagement. As always, y'all, much love. Be blessed. Be safe. Take care. Peace.